wonderful that you can't see what we see. This is How to Watch TV on Comeuppance Network. This is How to Watch TV on Comeuppance Network. This is How to Watch TV.
With Joel and Jeremy, I'm Joel, this is Jeremy.
Welcome to How to Watch TV. We are brought to you by Comeuppance Network. Check out all of our social media stuff at thishishowtowatchtv.com. Email us questions, comments, and your, personal thoughts about us personally, I guess.
Well, more about the stuff we talk about than us personally.
You can attack us personally if you want. I don't care.
If you attack us personally.
But this is howtowatchtv at gmail.com. Anyway, moving on. So, what did we watch this week, Joel?
I don't remember anything. Maybe.
Well, what are we doing this for?
I don't think we watched anything. Did we watch? You remember watching anything?
Was there anything good on this week?
I don't think so. Game of Thrones is held over till next week. They're doing the finale next week, so I can't think of anything. No, I don't give a shit about any of the other stuff I watched this week. I don't remember. I watched Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3, sort of. I was in the room for them.
Okay. Sense8, we talked about that on another podcast, so we just briefly mentioned that, but...
no, nothing else. I didn't bother with Silicon Valley again. I'm just going to get caught up on that soon.
I watched Silicon Valley. So funny. Anyway, we won't go into it, but, apparently.
Yeah, obviously. It's going to be funny. The Sense8 podcast, people seem to like it, so go ahead and check that one out. It's on comeuppance.com. And
good
all that
show,
other stuff.
really good show.
thishishowtowatchtv.com, there's links to it. Yeah, it is quite a good show. Okay, so...
Anything not to watch? Oh, hey, I'll mention one more thing. I watched some sports this week. Guess. That's TV, right?
Yep.
It counts. I watched the finals are going on for the NBA and the NHL.
What's the NBA at the moment?
I think it's 3-2. Golden State Warriors are over the...
They're winning?
They're winning.
Fuck yeah.
3-2 are over the over the Cavs, and the Hawks can close it out tonight.
Nice.
They actually got a game tonight. They could win the Stanley Cup tonight. They're up 3-2.
Nice.
So, I've been watching a little bit of that in the room for it, like you said, kind of not,
not
Hawkeye. I'm not a big basketball nor hockey fan. I'm a fair weather Chicago sports fan. I'd like to see LeBron James lose. I don't know why. I don't care for the guy.
It's nothing to do with him. It's everybody who talks about him. They compare him to Jordan, and that pisses everybody off because he's not Jordan. He's not.
You got to have 6 rings.
I don't want him to ever win a championship for Cleveland. How great would that be if all this hype was around him and then he can't even bring a championship there? That would be my best day ever because then it would shut everything down.
You can't even start the conversation. I don't want to get too far into this.
Best LeBron Jordan. LeBron James. Yeah.
I get it.
He doesn't need to be LeBron Jordan.
Like I said, to start having that conversation, you have to have 6 rings, right?
I guess. A buddy of mine argues that there was there was technically, statistically a better person, like Oscar Robertson or some bullshit like that. And it was like, yeah, who cares?
He doesn't have 6 rings.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. So speaking of rings, I don't think this has anything to do with rings. But anyways, Game of Thrones was...
Not Lord of the Rings.
We're not... This isn't Lord of the Rings. This is Game of Thrones. And this is Season 5, Episode 10, Mother's Mercy. Now, my first thing that I text you... Because you had already watched it at this point, right?
The funniest thing was... I didn't know the episode title till just now.
No?
I didn't catch it till you just said it right there.
Yeah, Mother's Mercy.
All right.
Yeah, you always seem to be surprised when I tell you what it's actually called. You're like, shit, that's what it was? Okay. Unless I've texted you like a Dance of Dragons last week.
You didn't text me that one.
I just told you that was the one I saw.
You were excited about it, right?
I got spoiled on that name.
Okay.
Well, the thing that I noticed in the opening credits of this one, and it was probably something that if we had been doing a podcast during Season 1, we would have pointed out at some point, so it's probably just slipped by, but could Syrio be the fucking Braavosi statue guy? When he died... Or when he was in that fight, his sword got broken in exactly the same way as the thing.
But it was a wooden sword. Yeah, I guess. That's.
But that's symbolic.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's dead.
I don't think that. I think he's one of the many-faced people. Honestly.
Well, his face. I got really excited when we saw that at the beginning because you talk about the previous Leon stuff, right?
Well, yeah, they had to show the motivation for Arya to want to kill him.
That's what they showed it for.
But if he's him,
I thought they showed it.
But if he's him. Then he would be mad at her for a different reason, because it was his kill.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. Yeah, because it would have been his kill.
I was just thinking,
Marin
okay,
Trump.
that's cool.
Well,
Maybe
she
this is
stole a
something.
life from the many-faced god.
Well, but the way that he was shown in the credits, and then it showed the sword break, or
Yeah.
I mean, in the previously on in the sword break, I was just like, holy shit, that's awesome. What if he's that guy? Like, what if he was the one they made the statue of all that long ago? And he just lives forever. I don't know. I'm just making shit up here.
Yeah, you are. I don't know. I mean,
It could be cool.
Could be cool.
It's just theorizing.
That's a good.
None of us
No,
know what the fuck's
absolutely.
happening.
That's a good connection you made with the sword broken thing. That's awesome. Yeah,
So I was
I don't
just
know.
like, fuck, that's badass. Because same hand, everything. Anyways.
Yeah, he's
The
a little
mention of
dude.
Benjen we got in the opening credits, which obviously red herring, but we get that. The mention
Yeah,
of
another
him.
red herring. Right. Seriously.
Yeah, then we start and the snow is melting for the Red Woman and Stannis. He's not really into her anymore. Half the army deserted with horses, like we predicted.
Well, first the snow was melting.
Yeah.
So
the
got.
snow's melting for them. Yeah.
She's all happy because she's got her way. The sacrifices work. The snow's melting. She goes up there to tell him that, but half his men is fucking gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So he's not really.
the way
like,
he looks at her and she closes her eyes, like, I better get out of here before he does something terrible to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his wife killed herself.
Yep.
Which I over the weekend or over the week I had text Jeremy saying that what if she just like killed Stannis and the Red Woman, and she sort of did the opposite and killed herself. So yeah, I honestly felt poor Stannis for a minute, and like after last week, that's hard to imagine.
I
But
mean,
felt poor Stannis when I saw
I
his
kind of
wife
felt
there.
bad for the guy because he gave up everything.
He's
for this.
alone now, and he's got half his army. And
He tried this vie for the Iron Throne of his. It destroyed him
Yeah. Yeah.
and his family.
Well,
I mean, in
Melisandre
the
took
most
off.
worst fucking way that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Melisandre takes off then
Yeah.
immediately before
Mhm.
there's any chance for, and they told him that when he was there looking at his wife hanging, hanging from the tree.
Yeah, the Lady
And
Melisandre
then
was seen leaving the camp.
He's off to Winterfell. They're gonna march on.
He's just gonna go
basically.
anyway, right?
John tells Sam what happened north of the Wall, and he sacrificed his lives. He sacrificed the lives of Night's Watchmen to save the wildlings.
Yeah.
Where?
There's some Night's Watchmen that went with him that died.
Oh, okay. So it's really just
He was the only Night's Watch
It's-
brother
I
that came
see.
back, really.
It's just that the people being petty that they lost a few in the war that they don't even know is happening. I
Right.
see. Okay.
They didn't see what happened there.
Yeah, they don't really believe it or whatever. So
I don't know if
Sam
they-
knows.
Yeah.
So Sam asked to be sent to become a maester, which we called a long time ago too. I believe in this season.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, he's totally going to do that.
To become a maester, yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
With Gilly and the baby.
So that's
And-
another thing I think that they're. I said to Jenna during the episode, he's doing a bunch of things that they don't like.
Yeah,
that
obviously.
the
It almost felt like a going out of business sale. Like he was just like, okay, I got to push all this shit through before I'm out of here.
yeah.
Like in some way he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Sam's worried about failing her and letting her die, and knowing that like the last look on her face would be him sucking.
Knowing that he failed her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John agrees, and Sam gives up that they did it with like sly mannerisms, and
Yeah.
he gave it away. And now Sam promises to return, like John did,
Mm-hmm.
and then they toast to their happy returns or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else interesting about that stuff? Him then leaving, waving goodbye.
No, I mean just yeah, it makes the most sense. And now Sam and John are the only ones who know that not only do
The dragon glass.
not only does what is that stuff called, obsidian,
Or the dragon
Which
glass.
is dragon
'cause
glass,
the
yeah.
Valyrian steel.
yeah, and then also Valyrian steel now kills White Walkers. So Sam and John only ones that know that those two.
But
pieces of
but
info.
the way that John downplayed it, though. We need a mountain of it.
Oh yeah, we don't have enough of.
We
them.
don't have enough of them.
Yeah.
How many Valyrian steel swords are left? Not enough.
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, no way. There's plenty.
There's not enough. And
But-
a mountain of it. There is a mountain of dragon glass, however.
Yeah, which could probably be forged into Valyrian steel. Watch, it's something like that, like the dragon glass mixed with the dragon.
Something like
and
that.
some sort of
Forged
metal
fire.
from Valyria, blah, 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 makes Valyrian steel.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyways.
Kind of cool, yeah. Like, and start forging Valyrian steel swords to fight the White Walkers with.
Yeah, I mean,
because he killed the White Walker pretty easy with the Valyrian steel sword.
It's almost time to just go Team White Walker. Honestly, they're
I
our
mean,
best bet for people that
we'll
aren't
touch
going
on
to
that
just...
again during some theories I want to touch on.
Yeah, okay.
During the after we get through the episode.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff afterwards to talk about.
I got some. Well, you probably got some of the same stuff written down that I do.
Probably.
I bet then. But there's a couple of cool theories out there that I want to talk about.
Okay. Stannis marches on Winterfell. Sansa breaks out with her corkscrew.
What a solemn. That's the right word. Solemn. What
Yeah.
a solemn march, right?
Oh yeah,
Just
he knew what was up.
I mean, all the soldiers, everybody that was following him's just like, oh fuck, man,
Yeah.
what the? And then they're all march. He pulls out his sword. The way he's just like,
Well, not even there yet. Sansa breaks out her little corkscrew thing that we saw her steal a couple episodes back.
you thought that was going into somebody's neck, but just to pick the door.
Yeah, and then drops it. I'm
Yeah.
like, why? That would have been a good weapon. Why
Right.
wouldn't you keep that?
Right, just in
Dumbass.
case. Right.
Pod carries rabbits and firewood until he sees Stannis. Brienne stares at the tower as Sansa goes up and lights it. Brienne just misses the candle. I mean, come on. Ridiculous.
That's almost the.
She would have done basically the same thing.
You can't tell me she wouldn't have been like gathered her shit and then been like, one more time.
Call back and look. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
come on. That's almost as unbelievable as Jaime and Bronn showing up at the same exact time as the Sand Snakes.
Yeah.
At the same exact time that Tristan and fucking his woman are out there making out.
Yeah, everybody
Bullshit.
that needed to run into each other all conveniently runs
Shows
into
up
each
at the
other
same
at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Stannis is marching and sees an army coming at them. He was going to siege in the morning. He's like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
There won't
The
be
guy
a
that he was
siege.
talking to, yeah. Sansa watches from the tower. That was an awesome fucking shot. Her just like terrified looking up there.
But just the swarm, just the absolute devastation.
Yeah, Stannis sees what's going on, pulls out his sword, like he said. They're getting slaughtered. Two men approach an injured Stannis after the fucking main battle.
Yeah.
And he kills them pretty awesomely.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
He's
So
hurt.
Stannis is a badass too. Like,
He's fucking bleeding a lot
Yeah.
from his leg.
Yeah. Well, that dude caught him. You saw he caught him real good in the leg.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
dude
I
that
would-
caught him real good
I
in the
see.
leg, huh?
I didn't catch that during the episode. I didn't see the moment of impact. I probably was writing
Oh
something
yeah, it
down.
was crazy. Like he was like a full swing. It just landed in his fucking calf and shit, and he just pulled it out, and he was like and his grunt, leaning up against the tree,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like grunting at the dude he just killed, like you motherfucker, like that was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was a
And
cool
the
scene.
other amazing thing that Stannis did was right before he pulled out his sword.
to go march at. That's what I meant.
I mean, when he saw them coming at him.
The two guys.
When he saw the whole army
that's what I
coming
mean,
at him,
yeah.
he was just like. It wasn't like over the top.
All
It
right.
was just like so exactly like fuck.
We got to do this right now.
Yeah,
we don't
like-
even have time to prepare. We just got crushed. That was sad to watch. And just get swept aside like that. Just
Yeah.
crushed.
And then Brienne shows up, and basically he admits that he was there or that he was involved in the murder of Renly,
Yeah, he admits to Brienne right there.
and she sentences him to death. And obviously there's the they didn't show it on screen thing, so he's probably not dead, but I don't think he's long for this world. I don't think it's going to be the return of Stannis in 3 seasons, and he's going to build back up and be a
No,
force
it's
to
not going to
reckoned
be
with.
like that. He's going to be a lonely old man that has to fucking deal with the fact that he sacrificed his daughter.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it would
gave
be
up
better
his
to
fucking
see him
family and
live.
sacrificed everything and pay for what he fucking did eventually.
It would be better to see him live. Selfishly, I like the actor. I want to see
Yeah,
him keep going, because obviously he can't just go into another role and
Like
be
I
Stannis
said,
still.
Brienne is an honorable person. Okay, even though she sentenced him to die, maybe she didn't.
Does that mean
take
she
the killing
fails
blow.
again?
To not kill him?
Yeah. Like, didn't she fail the
She's
last
been
two people?
well, then she just failed just now, just turning away at right before the candle was lit.
She's
just.
I mean, they couldn't be shoving it in our face more that she's
Pinch myself with my belt.
that she's a failure. They couldn't be rubbing that in our face more. And when
Yeah, but-
she dies eventually, they're gonna go, see, she was built up. Every step along the way, we told you she sucked at stuff. Like, that she wasn't, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
where she failed. And
Huh?
you're going to be like, oh, well, I guess you're right.
Right.
Yep, everybody deserves to die. Where'd they go?
It fell off the table.
I hope it was the right book. I don't know which one it was. No,
The Dance of
is this
Dragons
one.
is right there.
Let's see what else happens here. Go on to your duty, and she swings, and we cut to Ramsay. So Stannis is left ambiguous on whether he's dead. I don't see him. I don't know. Maybe he lives. In
Maybe
like
they
you
just
said.
didn't want to show the actor's head get cut off.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, Shireen's not dead because she could have just been acting those screams. We never saw her burn to death. Like, that's the same kind of fucking shitty thing.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I see what you mean there. I don't know. It's hard for me to say in this show.
The HBO website, much like the guy from last week that was Dany's husband,
Yeah.
says Stannis is dead.
Oh, okay. So then that's probably it then.
It probably is.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for her to keep him alive. It
doesn't.
doesn't benefit her in any
No,
way.
it doesn't.
And I'm sure there's hostility there. Well, there's obviously hostility. He fucking killed Renly.
Right.
That was her king. Yeah, of course. Duh. We see a fucking slaughter from above.
Yeah.
Just like that. I mean,
If they pan back out from Ramsay, yeah, it was awful.
ridiculous. Now, just me, or did Ramsay just fuck himself because he forgot to burn the bodies?
Oh shit.
Yeah. They're gonna get raised at some point and fucking destroy them. Or be part of what kills them.
Well, Jon Snow said it during that conversation with Sam.
What?
He said he raised his hands and they all stood up at the same time. The largest army in the world, tens of thousands of them.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, even without them, but the fact that he could then just go whoop, and then they're all back in the game too. That's a lot
yeah,
of dead
but
people.
do you think that they don't? I don't know like old war practices or anything like that, but
Yeah.
don't you think it would clean up a battlefield? Wouldn't they clean that up?
Ramsay?
Yeah,
You think
but the
Ramsay
Boltons, his
gives a
father
fuck?
is in charge. But I don't think. I think they would clean that up. Don't you think they would-
Did you even see
wouldn't
him out there? I don't-
Ramsay? No, Bruce Bolton was
Bruce.
not in the episode.
Exactly. So that
No.
was all Ramsay, wasn't it? Or well, I mean, his.
Well, I think him riding out to meet Stannis, like they had spies and shit. You could basically assume that they had like they knew what was coming. They knew who was coming. They knew how many men were coming. Basically, they saw him. They said, "Oh, half his force is gone. Let's just ride out and meet him. We can crush him."
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Okay.
Thought they were
So-
gonna siege the walls, dude. What the fuck? Come on, Stannis. Come on, Stannis.
What, like Blackwater?
Yeah.
Just
what the fuck,
okay.
man? They kept saying
Sansa-
what a brilliant military commander he is. Apparently not.
Sansa gets caught by Ramsay's ex, Miranda, and she's like, "Ah, fuck it, just kill me. Like, let me die while I still have some of me left in me."
Right.
While
But then
it's
she's
still
like,
me.
"Well, you're not gonna die." What was she gonna do? Stick arrows in her legs and arms and shit?
Yeah, she's like, you just don't get to keep all of you. Like, she's thinking like, apparently that's their culture. That's the way that Ramsay is like the culture that she's identifying with. Miranda,
Right.
she's thinking that's what you do. If somebody doesn't do what you want, you start taking pieces of them.
Yeah.
Leave her less than whole.
That's her. That's
their-
the flayed man is on their is on the shield.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
So Miranda isn't going to kill her, and then Theon throws her over the side, and
Miranda isn't. She was gonna.
she was just going to
poke
take
holes in
pieces
it,
of her.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And he throws her over the edge. Yeah, that was awesome.
And then
Good
they
fall.
Winterfell over the side.
Yeah. Yeah. See, what was that about? Like, was that they were just jumping into a snowdrift?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Somebody posted a video of some Russians doing it, like jumping off of a 5-story building
Into some snow.
from the roof onto the snow. Yeah,
Okay. I'll believe it.
yeah.
That's their escape, right? So Theon's on the run now. He's
Obviously,
turned
yeah.
he turned back into Theon.
Oh, for a
Almost.
moment. For a moment.
Well, he left now. He didn't go back running back to his master.
Yeah.
He jumped with her.
He did, absolutely. I mean, I'll give him that. We didn't see it coming. See, we keep expecting things and then
That was
then
good.
not unexpecting
There's
them.
some good for you.
Because at one point we thought, well, yeah, and you know what? Sansa finally caught a break. She gets to go to the wall and meet up with her brother. Tell me that's a fucking shimmer of hope. I mean, Sansa's not getting away, dude. You really think she's just gonna get away? Like, is that the story they're telling here? She's gonna get her and Reek are gonna get caught by fucking Ramsay or some shit.
He's gonna flay them both.
I mean,
Why not?
maybe he'll. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they get away. I guess it's possible. It'd be a more interesting story, I think, if they got away, and you get to see them like him try. Maybe they become an unlikely.
I think they are
couple,
gonna be
but an unlikely partnership that works. You know that
to have to make it in this
to where they can
fucking cruel,
survive. Yeah,
cold world. Yeah.
I think I guess there's a shimmer of hope, but she just found out that Jon Snow is the Lord Commander at the Night's Watch. And so that's where she's headed. You know damn well that's where she's headed. And she may find out before she even gets there. Ugh. Well, we go to Meryn Trent after that.
Well,
Meryn
word
Trent.
does travel fast in this world.
Yeah.
People do find stuff out because of ravens and things like that. They do. People like send like.
But
it's
she's
like
not gonna be
like
near
an
Raven.
like an update raven. No, she won't be. But like, I was just for example, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like people know things and people find things out. In the
Yeah, somebody can mention it to her
Yeah.
along her way to the wall.
Mhm.
But I'm sure that's where she's going. Where
now
else
that
would they
not
go?
knowing that Jon Snow is the Lord Commander, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, dude, bad call. She shows up there, yeah.
Right. Well, that's not necessarily the case either yet. We'll get to that discussion when we get there. Meryn Trant is torturing little girls. I mean, there was some shot from like season 1 or 2 where he was like backhanding some girl. I can't remember who it was, but I saw a screenshot of it today. Like where he did the same thing when he was part of the Kingsguard, wasn't he?
Was he smacking Sansa? Didn't he smack? Did
Maybe
he
it was
smack
Sansa. Yeah, he just like backhanded some girl, and I was like, oh, that makes more sense now. So he just like he just whacks them and likes their torture.
Yeah.
He likes the torture aspect of it. The third girl doesn't react. He dismisses the others, and we nailed it. It's the sick girl, aka Arya, aka the girl that she poisoned.
They even
or
showed her
killed.
in the previously on.
Yeah.
They showed the sick little girl.
I just knew it at that moment. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, we nailed that shit.
We nailed that one, yeah.
And then
But that was
she fucking stabs his eyes out in the most awesome way. And she reminded me of like Gollum. The way she attacked and was like so like...
Dude, she went at him and like she like stabbed him in the eye and he grabbed her arm and she like tossed the knife into her other hand and then stabbed him in the other eye.
Yeah.
That shit was ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, that was
And then he
fabulous.
like grabbed her again and she just like stuck him in the chest like 4 or 5 times. And then he was
and
just
then
like,
he stood up, yeah.
"Oh!"
But she had shoved something in his mouth
She
so he
shoved
couldn't
the
talk.
dude, so he couldn't scream. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and then...
He was screaming, and she shoved the fucking tie around his neck and his mouth.
Oh, and she's just like, do you know who I am? And
Yeah.
she's like, you're no one, you're nothing. And I'm like, fucking yes, put his head in the hall. Because I didn't quite understand how that worked at the time.
Right.
I'm thinking she's going to take his face or something like that's how it works. I don't know.
Oh, and go
Probably not.
back and get right next to Cersei.
Oh, take his... I see. Okay, I
Take
didn't
his
even think
beat,
about
yeah.
it like that. She returns the girl's face after killing him. I mean, she made him say... she told him who she was and
Yeah,
cut
but
his
not.
throat and said, you're nothing.
Yeah.
And then she went back and returns the little girl's face, which it was really weird seeing it that way. That it was just like the skin of their face. It felt like Scooby-Doo. You know, like the
Yeah.
end bad guy where they just peel off the mask.
Well, that's like I said. That's how it looked when
Yeah.
he did it. They didn't show it the first time when they panned like the.
No, we didn't see him just go like that and take it off because it appeared that there was something like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
But you saw him pull something off his face when he was the black dude.
When we go back and rewatch the season, we'll be
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we'll be looking for stuff like that. But what did Meryn Trant do? What did he ever do to deserve that? Poor guy.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Killed Serial Pharrell.
I know, right? Well, potentially.
AKA the many-faced god.
Potentially didn't kill anybody then. So maybe he's innocent and didn't deserve it. How great would that be? Not that he didn't deserve it. He was beating the shit out of those
Well,
little
yeah,
girls.
he stole a life from the many-faced god. She stole a life from the many-faced god.
Yeah, so she gets in trouble there, basically. Only death can pay for life. And Jaqen kills himself. Like, drinks some fucking potion or something, kills himself, but then he's the girl. Standing there.
Like I said, I think he is the many-faced god.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously, doesn't
Yeah.
it seem kind of obvious at this point? Like we
Yeah.
said that a while back, but like it feels like they're hammering that home.
Yeah. So you think it's obvious at this point?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, the way she was...
Much like some of the stuff
pulling,
that
like-
storyline-wise we think might be
He-
obvious.
okay,
I
so
don't
then
think
you know,
it
he
is.
was the many-faced guy because she pulled many faces off of the dead guy.
Yeah.
Seeing her own face and then goes blind.
You think that's what caused that?
It's her seeing her own face?
You think seeing her own face is what caused her to go blind?
Well, she didn't go blind until she saw her own face.
I think that her going blind is like some sort of maybe temporary, maybe not punishment that is being inflicted because she killed Marin Trent by stabbing his eyes out.
Oh, it has something to do with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got to be something tied to that. And
but it didn't happen until she saw her face. He said the faces to someone are just as good as poison. The faces to somebody who still has their identity, like she said, I'm Arya Stark when she killed him.
yeah.
You know, when if she was truly no one, she wouldn't have said that.
Well, obviously, we knew she wasn't no one.
Right.
I mean, we've known she's Arya Stark. Well, yeah. Then she starts Scooby Dooing the face and sees her own, and that shit happens. And I don't know. I think it might be a thing to teach her a lesson to heighten her other senses.
I don't think it's permanent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it if it is. I'm sure it'll be interesting, her story now, because then there'll be one more obstacle she has to overcome.
Right.
But she never gets to get in the room with Sansa and see her sister again, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it takes one little element away from that. You know,
Yeah.
the visual side of it. But whatever. You know, if she was in the same room with her sister, it'd be equally as satisfying, I suppose. Yeah, and again, could it be that Marin's life wasn't hers to take because he is Syrio and that was his life?
Because,
Because he tried to kill him
right.
or succeeded in killing that body of him. Maybe Syrio was killed, like that vessel that he was in was murdered, but he could just go to another one, kind of thing. Because that's what just happened in that scene. Is
So it could have been.
unless
Yeah,
she took on his face, which doesn't make any sense. Because it was wearing the same outfit that the girl was wearing.
when he took
Jaqen
over.
was
Yeah.
wearing her outfit.
Yeah.
So it's not like she took his face. That's him again, right? Like in whatever form he is.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it seems like potentially it could still be. That theory could still hold true. Maybe it's too obvious at this point. Maybe it's just something I've thought about for so long that I'm clinging to. But it would be cool if it was still Syrio.
It would be.
We go to Dorne, and Marcella is leaving with Jaime and Tristan. Tristan?
Tristane. I think it was
Something like that.
Tristane, something like that.
The girl tells Bronn that he needs the bad pussy, which sounds pretty
Right.
funny.
And then
Jaime
bites him.
returns her necklace. Yeah, she bit him.
Did you know it right away when she kissed her?
It took me a second, but it did
I knew it
dawn
right
on me.
away. I was like, poison kiss.
It was too long of a kiss, first of all.
The way yeah. And then
Yeah.
she, like, touched her thumb to her lips. Like, yeah, make sure you work that shit in there. Like, you know? Make sure it gets on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, when her nose started bleeding, too, it was like, oh, shit. And then I was like, oh, yeah, duh. She's just going to drink the fucking...
This is a long farewell.
Yeah. Didn't take that
So
long.
that was the purpose of Bronn getting cut, was to show us that.
to show us
poison.
what it could be,
Yeah.
or what it could do, and
Yeah.
show that there was a quick
And
antidote.
show that there was a quick antidote for it.
Okay, I like that.
That's why they did
I
the-
like
the-
setup. I like
That's what
stuff
they-
that only shows me something because I need to know it.
We'll get to that same point later on.
Okay.
Because that's a perfectly good example of what they showed us with Thoros and Mir. We'll touch on that in more detail
Okay.
later. That's a perfectly good example of that.
Okay, anyways, she gets her necklace back from her dad and then admits that she knows that he is her dad and has a touching little father-daughter moment for, like, the shortest of father-daughter moments.
Like the shortest in history.
Poor guy.
Huh.
But, you know what? This comes back to that shit from episode 1 of this season. Cersei's flashback. All of her kids were going to wear, didn't they say crowns of gold or thorns or something like that? Like they said that she predicted the demise of her children.
Did she?
Yeah.
In that flashback at the beginning?
Yeah. She said all three will blah, blah, blah. It was something that indicated that either they would become king or queen or that they would be dead. Or that they would do both. That they would be that and then die or something. I don't know.
So she's only got one left now.
And he is king already. So, yeah, he's going to die too, is basically what they're saying.
Well, I mean, the mountain's going to be standing in front of him from now on.
In front of who?
Tommen and Cersei.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to want to fuck with that.
Let's see. Yeah, we can discuss. We're very soon. We're very close.
Okay.
Very close to that. I have theories.
I have theories.
Tyrion, Dario, and Jorah in the throne room. That was pretty fucking cool.
That was a really good scene.
Tyrion speaks Valyrian. That's hard. That sounds stupid to say. Tyrion speaks Valyrian.
Oh, it does say it. It sounds stupid when you say it like that.
And then, like, why would we bring you?
Yeah. Well, just in the shocked look on his face, like, well, why not?
What? You can pretty much talk, right? You can talk.
You can fight. Well, I have fought, but I don't claim to be a great warrior.
Yeah. So they end up
good.
basically keeping him there to rule the city through Grey Worm, which was a great idea.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah.
But like I said, he falls into more shit, dude. Seriously, he came across the Narrow Sea in a box, shitting in the same box that he was riding in, and now is ruling Marine. I mean, pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool stuff.
Well, but they know that his past dictates that. You know, his past, he's earned that.
Even
shit,
what's
basically.
his face from
the
the
fact
few days
he's getting any respect is pretty awesome from this group of people that didn't know him.
Well, they
anybody.
knew that the Queen respected him.
Yeah.
And he took that even though he's only been there a short time, she took him at her side.
Yeah.
And they all are loyal to her.
And Missandei is going to rule with Grey Worm, like, side by side. The Queen's most trusted, the leader of the Unsullied, and a foreign dwarf.
Right.
Are going to be running the country for a little while.
Right.
Jorah and Dario are off.
What does he say? Marine is ancient and beautiful. Don't
don't change that or
don't destroy her or don't fuck it up, basically.
Jorah and Dario take off. Varys shows up and gives Tyrion some confidence in ruling. They missed each other.
Well, basically, he said, they named each other's attributes, basically.
Yeah.
He was like, a dwarf with a head for politics, this and that, And he's like, oh, only if I had a network of spies.
Yeah, for information. Yeah, they were... Yeah, so they missed each other.
Yes, absolutely. It was cool. I thought it was cool to see him walk in there.
Yeah.
Another little bit of good.
Yeah.
Just a little sprinkle.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm trying to turn your mind around a little bit here. Just a little sprinkle.
It's not like I'm...
I know.
I love the show.
I know you do.
I do love the show. I'm not like, oh, fuck this show.
I know a lot of people aren't this morning.
Yeah, I know.
I know a lot
are
of people
fickle.
are.
It's a story, fine, I get it, but
okay.
You better have a fucking spectacular ending.
If you're gonna keep doing shit like that, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'll give you
that. Danny on a mountain.
We better see some Jedi shit at the end where they're standing there. And
if I see Jedi stuff, I'm gonna be so pissed. Danny on a mountain with Drogon on a pile of bones. Drogon seems to be licking his wounds.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that was awesome. That shot. I don't know why that seemed so cool to me. Seeing the dragon lick like seeing it do that like a dog. It was just cool. Like, okay, that's a great use of CGI.
Well, the way she acts like an animal.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's an animal. She got on its back and it was just like, oh, yeah, get off me.
Okay, so then she walks away and gets surrounded by Dothraki and drops the ring so they can find her. Like, you caught that, right? They said that in the after thing. That she dropped the ring.
She dropped the ring as a tracking device, basically.
Yeah, which that's ridiculous that anybody would think they'd find a fucking ring in the middle of a field.
There are trackers,
and I'm sure they will. They will find it. But what do you think? They surrounded her in such a beautiful way. It was almost like worship, wasn't it?
I don't think it's we're here to kill you. Because if they were here to kill her, just do it.
Yeah.
That's the mother, man. That's Khaleesi, dude.
What if, like, the mother new guy in charge wants to be with her, and she's still on the market?
Well, yeah.
Another dude's dead.
They never got married
if she
either.
Combined the Dothraki army.
That's why I think we saw that at the end.
Yeah. I don't think
that's
it
her.
was. I think they were setting everybody up to think, "Holy shit, she's screwed." The Dothraki are back to get her. I think that's the.
Why would they
opposite.
be back together? She's the mother of dragons. They've
If we think that, they'll probably just go the other way
And just wax her.
Yeah, she's gone. How crazy would that be at the
they
beginning?
just kill
of
her
next
at the
season?
beginning of next season.
She's just done in the first episode. And I'm like, what?
What'd you expect?
Yeah, what'd you expect? She came from shit. Her brother got gold poured on his head. So we cut to Cersei now. So that's the end of Daenerys for the season.
That's it. Dude, and like I said, the way they were all going around, we'll go back to that, just the way they were all going around in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Dude, it was not a thing where, what, because if you're going to kill her, just fucking,
Or if they're going to capture her, just pick her up. The
just
first
take it,
guy
just
could have
fucking
done
swoop
that.
it up and, right.
What's
or
she
knock
gonna
her
do?
out. No, they surrounded her because they're going to worship her. She's going to show back up Marine with a fucking army of Dothraki fucking screamers
Yeah.
and shit. Yeah.
And fuck up the Sons of the Harpy. Boom.
Done.
There you go. That makes the
And
most sense.
add them to the Unsullied, to the things. Now the only thing is the Dothraki.
Maybe they can Dothraki can whip
in-
up the Unsullied again and get them back into fighting
Yeah,
shape.
seriously, and so they're
Fucking
not
Foot
like
Clan.
Foot Clan. Anyway, the only problem is the Dothraki won't cross the sea. You
Yeah.
have to convince the Dothraki to cross the
Oh,
sea.
I think she'll convince them to cross the sea.
Okay.
What if she just has the dragon, like, fucking use the fire to, like, you know, burn up the sea, for the water or something, and give them a path, or you know what I mean, some crazy shit like that.
Khal Drogo was going to.
What?
He was going to cross the
Oh,
narrow
yeah.
sea. You don't remember when back in season 1, when he had that speech after he killed her brother?
Yeah.
And he said, "We're going to cross the narrow sea, and we're going to,
Yeah.
to sit their throne of iron or whatever."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because
he got a lot of people
so we're going
got pepped up about that shit. He was in probably some high-ranking Dothraki officials.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Who caught that and like have spread the word of her now, and now they finally caught up to her. They've been trying to catch up
They're
to her.
probably
now.
not doing very well on their own at this point.
Well, there was
Who
a
knows?
lot of people, man. That was a huge army. Okay, so moving on to Cersei.
We cut to Cersei, who confesses to sleeping with Lancel only.
And fiercely denies it because she knows what happens if she does confess to that. They go pull Tommen out of the fucking Red Keep right then and there.
Yeah, exactly. So then she gets released to the Red Keep after the atonement, and she's washed naked in the cell, and they cut her
So
hair.
do you think any of that was genuine?
What?
Her
They s-
confession?
No, of
No,
course not.
just to
What do
get
you
out of
mean?
there. That's right. It's just her just trying to get the
You
fuck out
didn't
of there.
see the. I mean, not jumping ahead too far, but you didn't see the look of fuck. Yes, I am gonna get my goddamn revenge.
Oh, when he picked her up at the end of that scene.
I
yep.
don't think they've been saying, "I'll burn cities to the ground." Idly. What if she burns King's Landing
I mean,
instead of the dragons?
You see the size of that motherfucker?
I know, but still, what if she burns down King's Landing in some way or another? Where she fucking
After
takes her
what just
revenge on
happened, all those
everybody,
people fucking throwing shit at her.
killing everybody that worshipped or that was being a
Oh,
dick.
dude,
and
the faith militants fucked, bro.
Yeah,
that they let her
probably.
out of there.
But you know who's going to fight for the faith militant? My theory, they, not Thoros Amir and them, found the mountain. I mean, found the Hound and healed him, and he could fight for the faith militant
But that's
against.
different gods.
Huh?
The faith militant wouldn't be the same as the Lord of Light.
Oh, I know.
So why would they team up?
I'm just saying maybe they found and healed the Hound, like just nursed him back to health, and he's going to fight for them against the mountain. I'm not saying it's happened yet necessarily, but I'm thinking that could be the
That would be
reemergence of the Hound.
It'd be really cool
He
to
has
see.
to fight. He has to fight Super Shredder Mountain.
All blue face.
Yeah, he's the Super Mountain now.
Yeah, Super Mountain, Coors Mountain.
Yeah, so he has to fight. I'm just
The
thinking
Blue
long
Mountain.
term that he has to fight. He has to fight Super Mountain. That's the only reason to bring him back, and then he defeats whatever the mountain is now.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it to you. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think the dog's dead. I still don't think it. Even though he didn't come back this season, I still
Hound?
don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
he's dead. I still think, like you said, that Brotherhood without banners, we got a glimpse of them. They're coming back somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
They have a role to play yet.
Yeah, again, I don't think they show anything that isn't specifically for a reason. With the fact that there's 2,000 pages of source material for this one season, there's no way that they could afford to waste any second of screen time on something that isn't necessary
Completely
to
necessary.
move the story of. Think of Back to the Future. That's how they wrote that shit. They fucking said, okay, in the 50s, he's going to need to be able to ride a skateboard, so we show him skateboarding at the beginning of the movie. Like, that simple. Like, everything mattered, and that's why that movie was so great. You know what I mean? So thinking it through that well is awesome. That means you're trying. So anyways, Cersei is, like, crying on her knees and looking up at the castle, and I thought that was a pretty cool visual. And
When she fell?
That was a green screen job.
Yeah.
That was somebody else's body. That was not the Lena Headey's body or whatever you say.
Really?
Yes. She wore a green screen, like, face mask, and then they green screened Lena Headey on there.
They did an awfully good job of it.
Yeah, it's not her body.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So she didn't do that scene then?
She didn't do that scene.
Wow.
At least not from the boobs down.
That's crazy. They did a really good job of that shit then.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell that. Wow, that's crazy.
There was a lot of dick thrown at us in this parade.
Yeah.
It was like a dick parade. I maybe this is what it feels like to be on the receiving end of a dick pic.
Yeah. This is a medieval dick pics is what they were. Yeah.
The Mountain is part of the Kingsguard now. He won't speak until all her enemies are dead. That was that look of, yeah, I'm gonna get my revenge now.
Yep.
This is my champion, so to speak. After that, we go to the wall, and Melisandre shows up and is in a haze.
Yeah. And who sees her right away? Jon Snow and Devos are arguing.
Yeah, and then the look on Davos's face when he found out about Shireen.
Yeah. Well, she didn't tell him exactly what happened.
Well, but he's gone. She's gone. That's
Yeah.
all he needed to know at that
Yeah.
moment. So yeah. So again, all of these things are going to tie in after this. All this stuff plays out. So Jon is reading notes, and Ollie comes in and says a wildling knows Benjen.
So we're here already?
Yeah.
Really?
Melisandre shows
That's
up
it.
at the wall, and then
Okay.
that's it. Yeah, I mean, they have their little convo, and then Ollie comes in, and I mean, wasn't that pretty much what we said?
Yeah.
That Ollie was going to
That
be
he
the
was
one.
gonna be
that
the
he was
one.
going to take Sam's words.
That's what drove us into the unkillable conversation last week.
Yeah.
Was talking about him killing Jon Snow, and we're like, yeah, no way.
No, I was saying it's possible. Like, anything's fucking possible, dude.
Apparently, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the theory that, like, Ollie, what if he just, like, does something? I think I even said stab. I could be wrong. Feel free to go back and listen. It doesn't matter. But it's kind of cool that I got that
Well, you
close.
said something about him poisoning.
Like I said, what if he poisoned Sam and Gilly?
Yeah.
What if he stabbed? I think I'm gonna go back and listen just for my own
Yeah,
sake to see if I
that was
called
pretty
that.
good, man. You called it, and I totally blew you off. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
He's an unkillable.
Again,
My bad.
What if Tyrion goes next
I
season?
mean, why not now? Seriously, why could, anything? It doesn't, at this point.
we found Benjen come outside as the new look at the flowers from Walking
Oh
Dead.
yeah.
And I was just like, instantly, before they even left the room, type, this is a setup. Like, I knew it, right? Did you know right then, or did you think Benjen?
I almost did because of the way they set it up at the beginning.
You thought Benjen?
Because of the way they set, because they showed the
Yeah.
actor again.
I was leaning to, I knew it, right? That fucking then, I'm like, this is a setup, this is bullshit, don't do it, guy. And then, however, maybe Benjen was, like, turned into a tree and then chopped down and made into a sign, and that was him.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the funniest fucking thing I saw online today about the show, was that major plot hole. Benjen didn't look anything like this, and it showed the picture of the traitor sign. He was a human, not a sign, okay?
Right. It even took me a minute. It took you a second to catch up to what's going on screen as you're watching it. Like when he sees the traitor sign, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
It
it was immediate,
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Like,
Oh no.
yeah.
Like, oh no.
He gets stabbed a bunch.
Oh no. I don't mean to scream, but yeah,
No,
it was
just like,
awful.
This is...
My wife's reaction. Are they stabbing him? I'm like, yes. That shit pisses me off. It was perfect.
Yeah, Ollie and does the last stab and like with his stupid fucking
He looks
face.
up at it in
you know
Julius Caesar fashion. Et tu, Brute?
Yeah.
Ollie?
You know, and Jesus fucking Christ, John, give them back their watch. Did all that for
Yeah.
a watch.
For the watch.
Oh, the watch. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I didn't think they even had technology for watches back then.
That was kind of lame, dude.
Yeah.
Tried and failed.
Many things. At least he didn't fuck a White Walker and still get to reign for 13 years. Like, how the fuck does that work? And Jon Snow gets killed because he's a traitor? Because he tried to work with the wildlings? Like, dude, fucked a White Walker.
He was trying to save everybody from the fucking apocalypse. The end of the world, as he puts it, I think during the conversation with his Sam.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of... The Night's Watch is made up of murderers, rapists, and thieves.
Yeah, it's not like this is a cozy place. Yeah,
No.
we should have expected it.
We-
We should have seen something coming. I mean, a little
I
bit,
honestly, I didn't see that shit coming. So let's go into some of the theories that are out there now.
but... Okay,
Since
so,
we're done, that was the end of the episode. Jon Snow and a pool of blood.
I
Credits.
mean, John should have listened to Stannis when
Go
he said
with
to
me.
send Alistair away. He said, you have many enemies in Castle Black. Have you considered sending Alistair Thorne elsewhere? Give him command of East Watch by the Sea. John, I heard it is the best to keep your enemies close. Stannis,
Yeah.
whoever said that, didn't have many enemies. You had the option, Jon Snow. You made a dumb decision right in front of our face.
Yeah,
I mean,
we thought it was an honorable decision at that point,
yeah.
but honorable to a fault.
Okay, so do you want to go with... Which one do you want to do first? Dead or not dead? Dead or not permanently dead?
Dead.
Okay.
He's dead.
Dead. I'm glad Ollie's family died.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck you,
Fuck
you
them.
little shit. Okay.
Ollie needs to die.
Well, yeah. Obviously, every one of those motherfuckers. Alistair too. Every one of those fucking traitors, pieces of shit. It's fucked up because it was half and half, bro.
Yeah.
You remember the vote was half and half
Yeah.
besides Maester Aemon.
Okay, now here's the thing.
So there was
There weren't, because I was thinking, why would they have opened the gates to let the wildlings through at all?
Because they
If
were
wanted
plotting to do this.
No, because the majority weren't with Alistair.
Right.
He did that shit on the low. They could potentially try to pin this death of Jon Snow on the wildlings or something, and then use that as an excuse to kick them back north of the wall. I'm just saying, there's
Yeah, but
like,
at this point they're there now, and there's only like 50 Night's Watchmen.
potentially. I mean, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying that like they didn't do that with the majority of the Night's Watch approval.
Right.
There was only like 6 people there, maybe 10 at the most, right there that were stabbing him. That's all that knew about it, I think.
Alistair's closest people.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's gonna figure out a way to lead the Night's Watch now.
And he got in there and got into Ollie's head somehow.
Yeah. No, Sam did that. Sam turned Ollie without even knowing it.
Yeah, okay.
By saying, you got to do what you got to do, basically, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
What else? You got anything else under Dead?
Under Dead, the show was never afraid to move forward after a major character death.
Well, absolutely not. It has to.
Yeah.
It won't. If he's dead, it won't be the same.
She didn't have the power Thoros Amir did.
True enough.
Again, we're assuming
But
dead.
We're assuming dead. Okay, so if they bring this up to her, well, like nobody knows that this can happen besides Thoros Amir. Maybe she does have this. I don't know, dude. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, maybe she does have the power, but in this instance,
She
that
doesn't.
would be a thing. She doesn't have the power.
Only
If
Thoros
he's
Amir.
dead permanently, then yeah, she doesn't have that fucking power because she would have done it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do we get?
Well, if they did do something to the wildlings in retaliation for this, if they did try to frame the wildlings for it, they would just add to the army of the dead. Fucking idiots! If they like pushed them back north of the wall, because
Right.
the wildlings. What's Tormund gonna do now? What's his move gonna be? You think?
If Jon Snow's dead, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I think he had respect for Jon Snow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He saved them.
Well, the ones he could.
Yeah. They could be worried about undoing a death and making all future deaths mean less. The show could be.
I think that's why they didn't overplay their hand with that particular thing. They've only done it once, from
Yeah.
what we can see.
Yeah, so
They
bringing a
explained that he had
character
been
back.
brought back 6 times,
Yeah.
but they only did it once.
It's not like they've saved any of our favorites, so
and
to
it was
speak.
right. They
with
haven't
it.
done
It was some guy we had never
and
heard
I think
of
that
before.
okay, so that could have been the only purpose of them.
That's
The only
why we
thing-
saw
why-
that scene, absolutely.
Why would we see that if?
Well, but he's dead
It wasn't
in this
the-
scenario. That's not for this discussion. That's for the he
Okay,
could be
all right.
reborn. Yeah, but they could be worried about undoing a death like Jon Snow to set a precedent going forward that
Well-
if somebody dies, maybe they're not dead.
Well, my only retaliation to that would be, is we only know of one person who has this power.
Yeah,
Is the Lord of Light.
yeah.
Or, and more specifically, Thoros of Myr is
That
the only
we've
one
seen
we've actually seen
demonstrate said
demonstrate
power.
do
Yeah.
it. Melisandre has demonstrated some power, but not that one.
Yeah,
She didn't demonstrate that in the show.
correct. But she did
Okay.
see something with Jon Snow at
But
Winterfell
she seemed to
or
be
whatever.
a little bit higher ranking, per se, than Thoros of Myr. She was almost kind of giving him an order, like,
Yeah.
you were ordered to do this, blah, blah, blah.
Well, what if she does have the power, but she tries to resurrect him, but Davos kills her first?
That could be too.
That would keep him dead.
That would keep Jon Snow dead.
Sam is now the only one who knows about Valyrian steel,
He yes.
as well as Dragonglass. No, he told Stannis and them,
He's
but they're
told
all
Stannis,
dead. But, I
Stannis.
mean, most of them are dead.
Yeah.
So even if Stannis knows, so what? That doesn't really help anything.
Even if he.
But Sam is the only one that knows that Valyrian
So if you
steel
said the
and-
website said Stannis is dead, we're going with Stannis is dead.
I guess.
Okay, I'll go with
I
you on
don't
that.
see what purpose he could have other
I
than
don't-
to suffer.
It would suffer. It would have been just to see his.
Maybe it's a mercy kill, just like,
Yeah.
okay, we don't have to see him suffer. He's suffered enough. Although it would be justice to see him suffer
for
with
killing.
the
Right.
knowledge of killing.
Well, I
his
don't know,
daughter.
man. We might have got to see him. That might have been what we were getting of that in that scene with him going and seeing his wife, and then losing the battle so horribly, and then coming across Brienne who wanted revenge on him for killing Renly. Like maybe that was his suffering,
Yeah, right.
you know. So yeah, I think
Yeah, for
Stannis.
Renly, that would make him laugh any other time. You're for Renly, okay.
Yeah, right.
And Stannis would fight the shit out of her, but yeah,
He wasn't fighting anybody at that.
What
point.
about this one for the last of the him being dead? Arya stole from the many-faced god. He chose Jon as a replacement.
That's pretty good. I like that for her family. You know, to
As a punishment
As a
for
punishment?
her stealing.
but how would she know that?
She
Being
wouldn't
so far
necessarily.
away, but it doesn't matter. I
Just a
guess.
thought. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
again,
a
I'm
good
just
one,
trying
though.
to tie anything
That's
to
not-
him being dead.
Okay.
I mean, there were so many cuts before closure. Was the amount of cuts before closure were out of control in this episode. Did Brienne kill Stannis? Why is Arya blind? Are Sansa and Theon okay? What are they going to do to Daenerys? Is Jaime going to turn his boat around and kick some Martell ass? Like
Right.
what? There were so many things that were just left
Yeah.
as cliffhangers. This is the most cliffhangers in any
And-
finale,
Yeah, seriously.
for sure.
Yeah.
Not dead. Let's say the obvious happens, and again, like we discussed prior,
The obvious?
the obvious being what we're thinking, that
The Red Woman.
that the Red Woman can bring him back.
But like you said earlier, might not be quite as obvious to other people as it is to
Exactly.
us.
But maybe that's not.
And
what
it
it
wasn't
is.
perfectly obvious to me last night. I got to be honest with you, because
No?
I didn't know.
I thought immediately, well, he could be brought back by the Red Woman. She just showed up. She can't be there
I
by
didn't think
coincidence.
that at all.
As soon as she showed up, I was like, oh.
I was all pissed off. And then this morning I get there, and me and my boss start talking about it.
Yeah, she
And
found
he
her
said,
new
he's
champion.
like, you know, he's like, oh, that one dude's gonna show up out of nowhere and then bring him back to life. I was like, no, but the Red Woman can.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, that makes a lot of
But
sense.
she already told Jon Snow a while back when she was riding up that elevator
Yeah.
with him. She let us know then that she maybe knows that he's her champion, not Stannis. She's the one he's the one she should be backing.
Right.
And so maybe she's somehow there, and that's gonna you know what I mean? That's the tie-in. That's
I-
how he could come back.
Okay, so we just went with dead. I'm going to go with until
This
they.
is not dead.
Well, I know, but we just went
He
with that.
cut his
We're on
hair,
not
and
dead.
he said he's not coming back next season. He's dead.
I know he said that, but
Kit Harington.
okay, I know he said
Yeah.
that. I read that too, but
No, they couldn't spoil it, obviously, if he was going
because
to come back.
if he was going to come back,
yeah.
They reached a point now where they're 95% up with the books. Okay, so now they have secrets. Now they have secrets they can keep.
Well, but he could still not die in the book and die in the show.
True, but what I'm saying is that statement right there could.
You can't spoil anything.
They said you have to tell him that.
But he wouldn't. If there's any other time. Yeah, I mean, I guess nobody's going to say outright, my character isn't dead. I guess. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to do. Yeah, so obviously he could be hiding it.
He could be telling the truth, or he could be, or that was a lie.
Yeah.
Or it had to be a lie.
Or maybe he doesn't come back next season.
Or exactly.
Maybe he gets a
That's why I'm thinking.
story,
That's why I'm thinking we get the dog back next season. We didn't get him this season. Maybe
What?
we get
Oh, the Hound.
the Hound. Yeah.
Now think about
you don't
this.
call him dog. Joffrey called him dog.
Yeah. Well, you're like Joffrey. You're the Joffrey of this podcast.
Oh, fuck off. I'll behead your ass.
What's his name? Jon Snow was only bound to the Night's Watch till death.
That's another thing I thought about.
Yeah.
Is this releases him?
He could come back and pursue other things, flying dragons, conquering Westeros, etc.
Being raised from the dead? Why not?
Yeah. Okay, so my list of things for him not being dead.
Okay.
Ollie needs to die.
It's still okay that Ollie's family is dead.
I'm glad Ollie's family's dead.
Yeah.
Still. Yep. It could be that the show is setting Melisandre to be up, newborn John's first, worshiper.
Okay.
Like I was saying.
Maybe she has never done that. Maybe seeing him dead provokes her to do those words. Like, Thoros Amir said, he said, I just leaned down and said the words, and he came back to life. Maybe she doesn't. I've never done this before, and says the words, and he comes back to life. I don't think unless they fucking come back next season with his head on a motherfucking pike, and they're prancing around like they were doing with Robb Stark, I won't believe he's dead.
Much like Sense8, when somebody that is able to warg into things. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that says that even if Jon didn't know he had the warg ability, that he couldn't just be in Ghost right now.
Well, here's another thing I heard.
That they could bring back another actor in place of him as Jon Snow. Like, Jon Snow could have warged, because if a warg dies, they go into their body or they go into an animal or something else. Like, it's not something you even have to consciously do. In this world.
Right.
So if he's a warg, which there's nothing that says he isn't, it's never been, again, I'm just going with not dead. This is a way that he didn't die then. That he just warged into his body's dead.
So, in some of the stuff that we're reading today, I came across something that was in the books that they didn't do in the show. Mm-hmm. Is that okay for me to say that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because he's mumbled something before he dies.
Okay. He
says one word before he dies that he didn't put in the show.
Okay.
He says ghost.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean that's the perfect name.
My boss said that. My boss said that he you could hear him reading. He goes, "Oh, that's a good one," and he looks over at me and he goes, "He said something before he died in the books." He's like, "But I won't tell you."
Yeah, that's spoilerish. No, that's spoilerish in the sense that now that basically confirms this theory that I was just kind of clinging on to. The name would make a lot of sense now. Ghost. The name of the direwolf.
So you think it was spoiler?
I'm just saying that could be. Absolutely. It could be that Kit Harington isn't coming back, but Jon Snow isn't dead.
That he's inside of Ghost.
And he's in Ghost now, who's a ghost now. You see? Like, that's, again, we're just going with not dead.
I mean, I think it's stuff like that is possible within this universe that we live in here.
Death pays for life, and Stannis didn't get shit from sacrificing his daughter. So it wouldn't make sense for the Red Woman to not get something out of this. Something out of the Shireen sacrifice would mean, she could resurrect Jon.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, her power is
from death comes life.
So she has...
She has the ability to give life, potentially.
Because she
sacrificed Shireen. Yeah.
Okay.
Davos advising him would be cool. If he did come back, he needs a new king to serve. Davos does. So if Jon Snow came back,
yes, he would absolutely join Jon Snow, I think.
Yeah.
But the only thing is he doesn't like the Red Woman.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Well, but he could kill her when...
Say Jon Snow comes back.
Okay.
And now the two people, his two first followers as the resurrected Jon Snow are Davos and the Red Woman, who don't like each other.
Yeah.
So there you go. You got them.
That's an interesting
Butting
dynamic.
heads.
Yeah. Let's see.
What do you think?
What?
Do you think he's dead, or do you? I know that was serious out, but what do you feel like? What do you think?
I feel like that I take it slightly personally, and I think that the creators and George R. Martin are relishing in us not knowing what happened there. They're saying he's dead. They're saying he's dead, but I don't think necessarily he is. But I also think they want us to have that hope. I think they want us to like be hoping that he is.
They want us to be doing exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it would be awesome if he was in Ghost, but we're not going to get all the things point to it's technically possible that he comes that he doesn't come back. That Kit Harington doesn't come back, but Jon Snow lives. That's possible.
Okay.
I don't think Kit
I've
Harington is
heard
gonna come back.
I heard the warging thing in regards to Robb
Because I mean,
Stark.
if it's in Bran, that he warged into
to his wolf,
and
right,
then they killed it.
Then they killed the wolf, so
Yeah.
that was the end of him right there.
So he was dead twice,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
Right.
But so that was why they showed that to us. To show that fucking happens. They don't show us shit for no reason. That's why they showed us that.
Showed us
That's why
what?
they showed us that with Robb Stark.
Showed us what?
That he warged into his fucking
They didn't
wolf.
show that though. They didn't specifically show that he did that.
They cut out there and showed it from the wolf's perspective. The dire wolf's perspective right before it got slaughtered. That was the implication. I mean, you just said it. Why did you think that
Because
he warged
I read
into
that
the wolf?
I read that somewhere a while ago. Not even right after that happened.
But that's but if that's what that was, then they're showing us that for a reason. They haven't really cut in, not that I can recall, cut into a dire wolf's first person point of view when they weren't being warged by somebody.
It was just like Bran doing it. I don't think they cut to a first person point of view.
They were showing in the cage him trying to get out. The dire wolf.
Yeah,
that was
but not
outside.
like behind his eyes.
They were absolutely. They were showing the thing, looking through
I'd
the thing.
have to watch it again.
But during the Red Wedding, so if he transferred out there, they're showing us that to show you that this could happen with Jon. Is what
that
I'm
the
thinking.
Starks had this power.
Yeah, that like even if they don't know it, because Robb didn't willingly warg.
No, because he
prior.
didn't know anything about it. They didn't believe in that kind of shit.
Yeah. So if that's just who the Starks are, they're tied to the Night's King, maybe, like I joked last week. Like something in their bloodline allows them to warg, and even if they don't know it, so that could save him. Just a thought.
Hey, listen. Well, I almost feel bad now about saying that line from the book. Maybe that's why they purposely left that out.
Yeah, is because that's kind of obvious.
Because it's
then.
kind of obvious then.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, that information was there then.
'Cause
But that's
maybe they
the
could have
last.
been
That's
reading
the
it like-
last scene of the book, I guess.
But it could have been like he was calling for Ghost.
That could have been too.
But in the book, so maybe you wouldn't have thought of it that way. In the book, you might have thought he was just like, "Where were you, Ghost?"
Ghost, like, come on,
Yeah.
like, help me. Or maybe he saw him standing behind, Ghost standing behind him. Behind all those guys.
Yeah. Theories. Just a couple weird ones. Melisandre and the Night's King hook up.
Okay, well, here's another weird theory we didn't go into about Jon Snow. Becomes
that?
a White Walker.
Becomes a White Walker. Have we seen them? I mean, have we seen them bring somebody back to life as a White Walker? We saw them take a baby that was living and become a
Yeah,
White Walker.
but Jon Snow is it might be a little bit more important. He might have King's blood or whatever, or
Well, if
Stark
he was
blood
family.
in him.
If he was their family.
or he was right related to him
Okay.
in some way.
I can-
Maybe
I
he
can
could come
dig
back
that.
as a White Walker, which would be cool.
What if the savior of the Starks is Rakan?
That's a card that's in their hip pocket, man.
I mean, what if he's the ace in the
They
hole the whole
could,
time?
and they could change actors with that with no problem.
They don't need to necessarily.
But he's a boy. They could come back at
They'd
the
have
last
to jump
season
time.
with him being a couple years older.
Yeah, potentially.
You know?
I'm just thinking like that's somebody that they've
could
downplayed
do
the whole
it, yeah.
time. They obviously relish in taking away the ones that they've intentionally forced us to like. Like they've gone out of the way to make you want to root for somebody, and then intentionally they know they're just going to pull it away. So like there's got to be something weird like that in the background where you're just like, oh, we didn't even think about him.
I mean, I just think it's all setting up for something spectacular, man. And I think that the end of the book, we are going to get some of that good. Like, all this death isn't going to be for no reason.
Okay, I feel there has to be some setup to this. The book people have had a pretension all along when people get upset about things, like all the way stemming back to Ned Stark being beheaded. When Ned Stark was beheaded, they were like, yeah, that was in the book. That's how it was. You know, deal with it. Like, he got killed. And then the Red Wedding, and it was like, yeah, see, you thought this was a nice, fluffy show. It's not. And then death proceeded to be one of the only, like, plot devices for twists and shocks anymore. I'm not bummed out by any particular character death. Jon Snow, too, included. If he dies, he dies. So what? But it feels slightly... I want to make sure I use the right terms here, because, like, I'm not bummed about anybody in particular. Just fucking... I don't want to see any of them go. But I feel like they're doing it and then pointing at us and laughing. In a way.
See, I don't get...
the George R.R. Martin replies are the ones that are the most.
So you're reading up on that stuff, and
he just is kind of like, has this... First of all, it's the show, so it's not my books. I only care about my books. Like, that kind of attitude, which is just like, wow... Why must you be such a douche? Like, can't you just be a cool guy?
Really? He doesn't... He acts like that about the show?
He acts like, well, I didn't write anything for the last 2 seasons, so it's not my books. You know, that's all. Don't comment on here. He actually has don't comment on my website about the show. Only comment about the books. Like, this weird fucking contempt. That, like, and then when people die, or when Sansa gets raped, or when things like that, and people are like, hey, what the fuck? They're like, yeah. And it's just like, it's that attitude, that aloofness bugs me. I love the show. However, it's never going to rank up there in my top of all time. I mean, maybe it can still pull back from it, but I don't think that it will, because it's more of a story in, like, the gluttony of the people making it enjoying just death. And it's like, how long can you really just enjoy death? Just a mini rant by me. I don't know. It kind of bums me out that, like, it doesn't get to be the new Lost. And I don't mean that comparatively to content, but, like, my new addiction. It is, but it's also, like, that will kind of always bum me out long term about it, that it's that the twists and turns in Lost were not always death related.
I mean, I can't think of any specific, like, things that aren't death related that have to do with, like, when you say death related, I mean, seriously, like, if you can tie a bunch of shit back to Lost that's death related, if you want to say death related, or, like, specifically somebody dying right there in front of you on screen, you know, I mean, like.
But, like, most of the awesome shit from this show that everybody talks about is somebody dying. Holy shit, they killed Ned Stark. Holy shit, the Red Wedding. Like, give us a fucking awesome twist that isn't, like, just a bunch of death. Even, like, the dragon thing, bunch of death surrounded it. The dragon coming in and saving them. Obviously, it saved a character, too. But the byproduct was a bunch of death. And, like, that's the shocker in this show. Rape and death. That's all I'm saying. Like, a twist would be that something else, like, a cool twist would be more along the lines of the Jon Snow stuff, where it got into something a little more quasi-supernatural. You know, like a twist like that would be something neat, whereas the twist of, oh, you didn't see them dying and now they're dead, it's almost becoming a cliche within the show. Again, just my personal opinion. You don't have to tell me I'm wrong or right.
I thought like the plot twist, even though it is death related, that Littlefinger was like he's like started.
But it's only shocking because he killed the king.
No, that's not necessarily true. I was shocked more that he was involved with Lysa, and they sent the letter to Ned Stark and Cat Stark warning them about, you know, King's Landing and the Lannisters and all that.
Yeah.
In the very beginning.
So it was probably like a reverse psychology sort of thing where, like, somebody else tells him not to go and he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going. Or did he just never get their warning?
What are you
Ned
talking
Stark.
about?
You said that they sent Ned Stark a warning.
No, but in Winterfell, before he left to King's Landing, him and Lysa.
But did he get it? He got the. You're
yeah,
saying he got
him
the
and
thing.
Cat Stark read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when he decided to go to King's Landing.
Well, but there you go. That was the manipulation.
It was all manipulation.
Yeah.
See, I thought we didn't know that at that point that Littlefinger was involved in all of that. We didn't find out till last season that he was involved in all of that.
I guess the very nature of the prize of this show means that it's either death or nothing. You know, I mean, they said it at the beginning, I guess, so it's either you're dead or... Yeah, I don't know. Just every twist seems to be death-related, and just, like, surprised me once. You know, I like the Mountain stuff. The Mountain's not dead. He's a mutant. He's Super Mountain. You know, like, that kind of stuff is more interesting to me than just going, okay, love this guy for a long time, love him long time, love her long time, do whatever, and then we're just going to take him away because, poor. Just my thought. The death list from this episode includes Jon Snow, Stannis Baratheon, Stannis' wife, Meryn Trant, Marcella Baratheon, and Miranda, among a whole shitload in the field. I don't know, we're done with Game of Thrones for this season, and when I was watching it, I was okay with it ending. Like, whenever it ended, I was watching through, and I was probably halfway through, and normally that's when I start panicking. Like last year, when the show was ending, I was panicking. Like, fuck. I don't want this to end. This is so awesome. And it's not that I wouldn't want to see more tomorrow or next week.
Right.
But I'm kind of like, okay, just whatever. Just get to it. Let's finish it up. I was fine with whenever they decided to pull the cord, because it was 73 minutes, it said, the runtime. And I know that's including the end credits and the little bonus feature afterwards. But it was just like, come on, okay. Let's get to the end of this thing. Let's see what you guys did this year. And it's interesting.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm not bummed out about the show, about anything in particular. It'll be cool. You know, next show will be awesome. I just wanted to express that frustration. I didn't know how to say it right. But
I get where you're coming from.
I don't want to be one of these whiny people who can't handle when their character dies, because that's not fucking it. And I don't like the insinuation from people on the internet that it fucking is, that you can't be upset about something without it being cliche. You're just gonna.
Why else do it? Why else do it unless to invoke reaction?
Yeah.
I honestly, like I said, this one I don't think is permanent.
Yeah.
I really think he has more story to tell, and I don't think that was the end of it.
No, I don't think that's the end of it. But that is the end of Game of Thrones for this season. If you have any comments or anything, leave them in the appropriate places.
This is howtowatchtv.com.
We're going to be back next week with what? What are we going to do?
We're going to be back talking about True Detective. I'm going to watch The Brink starts with Tim Robbins and Jack Black on HBO.
Okay, we keep meaning to get to Wayward Pines.
Wayward Pines, we might be able to get to that.
Some of these might be audio only. Next week, we've been getting reasonable feedback on the Sense8 podcast, so we're going to bring that here next week and finish up with 8 through 12 or 9 through 12 of Sense8 season 1. If you haven't listened, go listen to them. They're on iTunes only. They're not on the YouTube channel. They come up into Network on iTunes. And yeah, we'll be back next week with that, plus True Detective, and maybe anything else. I don't know. We're not sure that True Detective is going to take main show status.
I mean, if it's anywhere near as good as the other one, yeah, it can move up there.
You think we could come up with theories and stuff for that every week to talk about it as in depth?
Well,
as
I mean, like, did you think about the last one? I was theorizing when it was coming, when True Detective.
Were we talking True Detective at any point on a podcast?
I don't think we did.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah, because I was having theories about season 1.
Yeah.
So that'll be next week.
I think you watched it before I did. You were already watched it by the time we had watched it.
Correct.
So we weren't watching it at the same time to discuss
to be able to have an open discussion about it. Yeah.
I think The Brink, I think, is going to be funny. I'm going to watch that. So we'll do a little talk about that. Anything else starting or anything like that coming along that we
Fear the Walking Dead should be coming up. The Leftovers should be coming back. We're going to be talking about all the best shit on TV. So join us next week, because
This is How to Watch TV.
See you later.
next week.
Same time next week, to be clear. It's not later next week. Never mind. Get out of here. Get out of my studio.
All these memories in my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker.